Yes, as I was saying, the first thing you check is your forexfactory.com, just so that you know which currency pairs you're to trade and not to trade. I personally do not trade on Fridays because I feel it's usually a bit spiky. But usually you should come to your currency your forexfactory.com. You have your date by the left hand side, you have the time after it, you have your currency, and you have the impact expected. Now, and you have the news here. So now you're basically going to check. Yellow means low impact expected. Orange means, as you can see, medium impact expected. And red means high impact expected. Personally, I do not trade any pair that has orange and red. Now, if you notice, there's a time by the side. The time there shows when that impact is expected, when that news is expected. Now, if you see this euro with the orange folder, you see 9 a.m. So meaning by 9 a.m., you should not trade any pair that has euro, meaning euro card, euro JPY, euro NZD, euro CHF, anything that bears euro, do not trade it. Now, if you look down here, you see red on card. By the left hand side, you see 1:30 p.m. Meaning, if you look here, you see high impact expected. Meaning, do not trade anything that contains card by 1:30 p.m. If you also look here, USD also has the same thing by 1:30 p.m. So, meaning anything that contains card or USD by 1:30, you should not trade. Now, wahala for those people who go and trade USD card by 1:30. So, USD and card, anything that has USD, USD JPY, USD CHF, GBP USD, AED USD, as far as USD is there by 1:30 p.m., do not trade that pair. Anything that has card, USD card, GBP card, card JPY, Euro card, do not trade it by that time. Now, basically, you're going to set your laptop to your Nigerian time, obviously, and anytime you see by this left-hand side, you should not trade it by that time, meaning it's Nigerian time. Good. Do we understand Forex, how Forex Factory works? Now, basically, you're going to you can check different dates. You can basically change your dates here. Now, if you understand how Forex Factory works, drop a 9 in the chat box. Wonderful. And moving on from here, I'm going to assume everybody understands Forex Factory. Next place I go to is the currency strength meter. So I told you on this call, we will not be explaining trading view, but I will be sending out some trading view videos that have already been taken. Doctors, you're just coming in, no problems. You have not missed anything you've not missed anything. So we'll just move on to the currency strength meter. So guys, after this call, I'll be sending out what different videos that we have done on TradingView. I have the one that me and Coach Isaiah have done. I have the one that Coach Isaiah has done on his own. So guys, endeavor to watch it, and those videos are very straightforward. Now, moving on to your currency strength meter. Currency strength meter is pretty easy to explain and understand. Now, you're looking here, you have different currencies, You have AUD, you have CAD, you have CHF, you have Euro, you have GBP, JPY, SD, USD. Now, basically, we do know that in binary options markets, you're trading currency pairs. You're not trading one currency, you're trading a pair. So an example of a pair can be AUD, CHF, Euro AUD, GBP AUD, GBP CAD, GBP USD. You can just freestyle them. Do you understand? Now, you're not exactly freestyling them because they are, if you look at your broker, you're going to see, I'm actually going to log in to a broker to use to explain this thing to you guys. So obviously, an example of a broker is IQ Cent. So like I said, if you look at your broker, this one. All right. If you look at the left-hand side of your broker, you're seeing different currency pairs. You're seeing USD SEC, USD ROB, USD JPY, USD CNH, USD CHF, USD CAD. These are all pairs. These are all pairs. NZD, USD. Now, mind you, you cannot say USD, NZD. It always comes as they are here. Now, these are the pairs that the broker has access to. NZD, USD, GBP, USD, GBP, JPY, and so on. Now, the first currency, I like to call it, the first currency is the buyer's market, while the second currency is for the seller's market. I think this is the best for you to understand this. The first currency is for the buyer's market, while the second currency is for the seller's market. Meaning in USD JPY, USD is for the buyers, JPY is for the sellers. Now, so basically looking at the currency strength meter, you're basically comparing between these two pairs who is going to win that fight. Is USD going to win or is JPY going to win? Meaning, if USD wins, meaning that market is going to buy. If JPY wins, meaning that market is going to sell. Now, in trading, once your first currency is stronger than your second currency, you're automatically looking for buys. So every single thing you're taking on that pair are buys. You cannot take a sell against the trend. You cannot take a sell in a buy trend. You cannot take a buy in a sell trend. So automatically, once you see that your first currency is stronger than your second currency, your resistance becomes invalid. Everything you're looking for is support to take buys. Do you understand so far? If you understand so far, please drop a 1 in the chat box. Are there any questions so far? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, okay, someone said recap. I said once you're taking a trade, once your first currency, now your first currency is what appears here, the first part of this currency. Once your first currency is stronger than your second currency, you're looking for buys. Once your second currency is stronger than your first currency, you're looking for sells. So meaning if JPY were to be stronger than USD, you're looking for sales. Let's use an example. USD JPY, as you can see, USD JPY. In this market, you don't need anybody to tell you that these bars here represent their strength. So naturally, if you see these two pairs, USD JPY, if they were to fight, if they were to box, who do you think is going to win this fight? Do you think it's USD or JPY? Let me see your answers in the chat box. USD. Wonderful. So clearly you can see here their strengths. So I've told you once the first currency is stronger than the second currency, you're buying. Meaning if USD and JPY were to be in a tug of war, USD is going to drag JPY in their direction. Meaning USD is going to buy. USD JPY is going to buy. If JPY were to be stronger than USD, that market was going to sell. Let's use another example. Euro NZD is obviously going to buy because Euro is stronger than NZD. AUD CHF. Can you tell me in the chat box what is going to happen? AUD comes first, CHF is next. If there was to be a tug of war, if we were to fight, who do you think is going to win that fight? Is this market going to buy or the market is going to sell? AUD CHF. Sell. Sell. Are you guys sure? Sell. Are you sure? All right, wonderful. I believe everybody is getting this. So to round up currency strength meter, like I said, if the first currency, Zoom user, please change your name to your normal name, please. I don't know who Zoom user is. So, like I said, if the first currency is stronger than the second currency, buy. Second currency is stronger than the first currency, sell. Meaning everything you're looking for in that trend, if it's a selling trend, you're looking for sales. If it's in a buying trend, you're looking for buys. Now, to me, I like to call the currency strength meter the most important thing you are using to take a trade. You know how you have in a group of friends, you have those people who, when they speak, everybody stops and listens, and you have those people who, when they speak, not everybody really takes note. Now, currency strength meter are those people who you stop and listen when they talk. Currency strength meter is the David Monetier of trading. I don't know if you guys get what I just said. Currency strength meter is the most important thing you look at when you want to trade. So if you want to trade currency strength meter, you look at currency strength meter. Guys, so sorry for breaking transmission. Please, if you can hear me, drop a one in the chat box. If you can hear me, let's just quickly move into this. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. My network just kicked me out. So I'm going to keep showing you what I was showing you. Okay, a lot of these things went off. So yes, I was about to round up the currency strength meter, and I want to believe everybody understands the currency strength meter so far. So like I said, if the first currency is stronger than the second currency, what are we doing? We're buying. If your second currency is stronger than the first currency, what are you doing? You're selling. Now, how do you know your first and second currency? On your broker, you're going to see two currencies, GBP, JPY, Euro USD, and so on. So you're going to make sure that once you see your first currency, that's for the buyer's market, and once you see your second currency, it's for the seller's market. USD, JPY. USD is your first currency, JPY is your second currency. This is how they come. You can never see JPY USD. You always see USD, JPY. So if USD is stronger than JPY in this case, you're buying because your first currency is stronger than your second currency. Write it down somewhere. If JPY is stronger than USD, you're selling. So if your first currency is stronger than your second currency, you're buying. If your second currency is stronger than your first currency, you're selling. Does everybody understand the currency strength meter? If you understand it, please drop a 5 in the chat box. Any questions so far? Wonderful. Nobody has any questions. All right. So we're going to move ahead to the main man, which is your hourglass. Now, I've explained to you how Forex Factory works. I've explained to you how the currency strength meter works. Now, we're going to move to Hourglass. Now, Hourglass is where you basically take your trade, your confirmation for your trade, and all. Collins, we're going to come back to. Okay, quickly for Collins, I'm going to go back to Forex Factory. Collins, as you can see in the Forex Factory, you're going to be the left-hand side date, Friday, July 30th. You're seeing your time, you're seeing your currency, and you're seeing these colors. Now, these colors here indicate the impact. If you see yellow, meaning you can trade that currency pair. If you see orange, do not trade it. If you see USD, do not. If you see red, do not trade it. Now, meaning by 1:30 p.m. by the left-hand side, you see that CAD and USD have red, meaning any pair that contains CAD and USD, do not trade it. USD CAD, USD JPY, GBP CAD, and so on. Do not trade it by 1:30 p.m. Same thing with Euro, Euro USD, Euro JPY, Euro GBP, and so on. Do not trade it by 9 a.m. I just quickly skimmed through. I believe you understand it now. All right. So, okay. Does Collins understand it now? Good. Meaning no man left behind. Now, I'm going to log into the Hourglass. The Hourglass is mainly where you get your trade ideas from. So I'm going to wait for it to finish loading. The first thing I'm going to talk about in Hourglass. Now, guys, please, please, guys, please and please do not let all these hold on. Oh yeah, do not let all these things scare you. These charts, these candles, these lines you see, they scared me at first. They are not that scary. Just try. I'm going to explain them now. By the right hand side, you see your alert panel. Now your alert panel is basically where you get trade ideas from. From here, you can see a lot of trade ideas. Now, while looking at this place, there's something you should take note of. These are all about 7 hours ago, Never take a trade that is above 5 minutes. So you're going to be seeing 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, 1 minute ago. All these 7 hours ago, they are all expired. I don't know why it's not updated here. I don't know if it's my laptop. So now I'm going to pick a currency pair to explain to you guys how the hourglass works. First of all, as you can see here, we're on the 5 minutes candle. By this right hand side, you're going to see your scores, your values basically. These are basically when you enter, this tells you when you enter a trade. By the right hand side, you can see your trade ideas in your alert panel. So you basically know what pairs you're looking at, when to enter, the time, what's the strength. So Cashtrap has an inbuilt currency strength meter. This strategy is known as Cashtrap. As you can see, we have Cashtrap 3.0 ticked. Now, Cashtrap has an inbuilt currency strength meter, meaning they will always tell you which currency is stronger than which one. But personally, I use an external currency strength meter also to confirm. You can never be too sure. All right. So moving on to the chart itself. You guys see these red things, intertwined lines that look like evil spirits, these white lines, and these green ones down here. The red intertwined and the green ones that are just a bit wobbly. Those lines are called your Bollinger Bands. Those lines are called your Bollinger Bands. Bollinger, Bollinger, Bollinger Bands. Now, that is, I'm going to explain what they are used for. I'm just going to tell you what everything is first, and I will explain what they are used for. Now, as you can see, I think someone is writing something in chat box. All right, Benjamin, I said they are called your Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands. I just wrote it for you in the chat box. Bollinger Bands. Now, as you can see, you can also see a red line. There are some red lines like scattered around. Red horizontal lines scattered around. Red horizontal lines scattered around. Now, those red horizontal lines are called your resistances. Those red horizontal lines are called your ceiling or your resistances. I'm going to come back to that. As you can see the green, if you can see the green ones, also horizontal down there, these green lines are called your supports or your floors. I like to call them supports. You understand? Now, the next thing we're looking at is there's a line that crosses, a thick line that crosses here. That line is called your EMA line, your exponential moving average. Now, these things you see, this red and blue, red and blue, red and blue you see in the middle are called your candles. The blue is the buy candle and the red is the sell candle. If you look down here, this is called the DMI stochastic, where you see BSSB, BS, and so on. Basically, S is for sell, B is for buy. This is another indicator for when it comes to calling trades, when it comes to taking a trade idea. Now, if you look here, as you can see, this is your stochastic. This is your stochastic. If you can see, there are two of them, 1 and 2. This first one is known as your stochastic, and this second one is known as your RSI. The second one is known as your RSI. First one is known as your stochastic. So far, have I lost anybody? Okay. Anita says explain the EMA again. Anita, I've not explained the EMA yet. I just told you what it's called. Agogo says come again. Okay, Agogo, where do you want me to come again from? Guys, I said this is known as your stochastic. As if you can see my cursor, I hope you guys can see my cursor. This cursor is pointing at your stochastic, and this is known as your RSI. Stochastic, RSI, stochastic, RSI. Now, when taking trades in Cashtrap, you are looking for different indicators for buys and sell, which brings us to what we call points. There's what we call the point system. There's what we call the point system. Now, the point system basically tells you if a trade, if you can go in for a trade at what point in time. Now, guys, write this down. 3 points means a good trade, 4 points means a better trade, and 5 points and above means an amazing trade. 3 points means a good trade, 4 points means a better trade, 5 points and above mean an amazing trade. Now, what are these points and how do you know how to get them? Your first point, like I told you, I don't think this thing needs to be given more than 1 point. But your first point, like I told you, is your currency strength meter. Currency strength meter is the first thing you look at when you're counting a point. Now, basically, a point says, is the market in a buying trend or in a selling trend? Is the market going to buy or the market is going to sell? Let us count the points for this. This is GBP USD. So we're going to use GBP USD. Looking at GBP USD from what I told you guys earlier, is the market going to buy or is the market going to sell? When yes says buy, when yeah, are you sure? Are you sure? Buy. All right. Okay, everybody's saying buy. Good. Wonderful. Wonderful. The market is going to buy. Now that is 1 point. Okay. If the market were going to sell, you still count it as 1 point. So that is 1 point. GBP USD buy 1 point. Now the second point is, are these your Bollinger Bands? The Bollinger Bands and another indicator, other indicators, is another indicator to know whether you're buying or selling. So, like I told you before, when you are looking for buys, you're only concerned with anything green. Just put it like that. Anything green, that is what you're concerned with when you're looking for buys. Meaning you're concerned only your support, you're concerned with your Bollinger Band. Now, if your price, now this is your price moving, this thing, these candles is moving. If your price gets down to your support, remember the support is the green one. If your price gets down to your support, that is another point for a buy. Do you understand? If your price gets down to your support, that is another point for a buy. Now, if your price gets down to your support, it also gets down to your Bollinger Band, that is another point for buy. Now we've said 3 points. 1 point currency strength meter, 2 price at support, 3 price at the Bollinger Band. Now the fourth one, what trend is this market in? Buy or sell? You already know that from your currency strength meter. But I usually like to also add this point, which is your EMA line. Now your EMA, if your EMA is below your candles, now these are your candles. This red and green, this red and blue. If your EMA is below your candles, you're looking for buys. That's the buying trend. If your EMA is above your candles, you're looking for sales. That means it's in a selling trend. If your EMA is below your candles, you're looking for what? Buys. If your EMA is above your candles, you're looking for sales. Do you understand that so far? And how many points have we treated so far? And someone tell me, how many points have we treated so far? Okay, Onye said she understands 4 points. Does everybody understand? In fact, if you understand so far, kindly drop a 3 in the chat box. All right, someone said explain the EMA again. All right. Uh, Benjamin, if you don't understand, tell me the point you are missing it. What don't you understand? Benjamin, kindly speak up, please, quickly. The EMA line. Okay, I think everybody just the EMA line. Okay, EMA, EMA, EMA. All right. Someone said resistance. So, okay, now these red lines are your resistance line. Now you are not compare. You're not. You don't have any business with resistance when you're in a buying trend. But let me explain what resistance and support is. Now your resistance and support, just take it like your roof, your ceiling, and your floor. If I have a tennis ball and I'm in a room, a POP room, if I have a tennis ball and I throw the tennis ball up to the roof, to the ceiling, what's going to happen? The tennis ball is going to bounce back to me and bounce on the floor. Now that ceiling is the resistance. That ceiling was resisting the tennis ball. and that floor was supporting the tennis ball. In the same case, take your price like your tennis ball. If price gets up to your resistance, you are expecting it to come down, so you're looking for sells. If price gets down to your support, you're expecting it to go up, so you're looking for buys. But you can never take a buy if your currency strength meter is saying sell. And you can never take a sell if your currency strength meter is saying buy. Now I'm going to use the same scenario of a tennis ball in a POP room. If you keep throwing that tennis ball to the same part of the POP, you keep hitting that same part, you keep throwing the tennis ball with force to the same part of the POP, what is going to happen to that POP? What's going to happen to the POP? If you guys know POPs, good. It can break, it will break, it will burst, break. Wonderful, wonderful. I like these responses. In the same way, it is not every time that price hits your resistance that it's going to come down. Sometimes price can break that resistance, and what you have to do is look for the next resistance. In the same way, it can also break your support, and what you have to do is look for the next support, and they will all be given to you. So now your old resistance can become your new support, and your new resistance can also become your old support. What do I mean? Your old resistance can become a new support. This is a resistance. This is a resistance. I don't know if I can draw a line here. Front H. Let me try and tick in this line. I'll make this black and I'll tick in it. I'm sure everybody can see this line. Your old resistance, guys, there was a resistance here before. If you can see, there was a resistance here, red one. That was an old resistance. Now, it became a new support for this candle. This candle came up here, came down, supported it, went back up, and so on. So your old resistance can become your new support. So basically, if you're looking for buys, you're looking at the support, and if you're looking at for sells, you're looking at the resistances. So buys, you're looking at support in buy trend, in a buy trend. Sell, you're looking at resistances in a selling trend. Does everybody understand support and resistance so far? Does anybody, Dockers, there's a recording, so you must watch it later. Good, everybody understands the support and resistance. Now we are going to move straight to the EMA. Now I've told people, before the old update, this line was just a straight line and it was a uniform color. I can't remember what color it was, but it was a straight line and it was a uniform color. This is your EMA line. Now someone just asked, one part of this thing was red. Now the other part is green. I will explain that in less than 2 minutes. But first of all, I've told you, if your EMA line, this is your EMA line. I don't know if I can zoom in on that. So this is your EMA line. This one here, this long thick one. I don't know if I can make it thicker. This long thick one is your EMA line. If it is below your candles, you are looking for buys. And if it is above your candles, you're looking for sells. Our time is fast spent. If it is below your candles, you're looking for buys, and it is above your candles, you're looking for sells. So right now it is below, you're looking for buys, which means it's another indicator that this market is going to buy. So all you're waiting for now is price to come down to your support and your Bollinger Band. Now, for the person who asked, why was the part of it red? Let me see what's the black line. Hold on. It was me that put that line there. This black line. All right. For the person who asked, why is a part of it red and a part of it green? If you can see this red part was above the candles. And I've told you, for red, you're looking, red means sell, green means buy. Anything here, red, sell, green, buy. So I told you, if the EMA was above the candles, you're looking for sells. If the EMA is below the candles, you're looking for buys. Look at red. Red, at the point where it was red, if you look at it, it was above the candles, which means it was in a selling trend at some point. Now, this thing turned to become a buying trend at some point, leaving the EMA below the candles. So this line turned green, and because it was a buying trend. So if it's a selling trend, you will see red. If it's a buying trend, you will see green. Do you understand? That person that asked the question on red and green line, do you understand? I can't remember who understood, but if everybody understands that part so far, please drop a one in the chat box. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. My network is a bit slow. Now, someone asked about the, okay, I think the black line you guys are talking about. I don't think it is this. Is it this line I put here? Let me delete it. Okay, I think, are you talking of this middle line? Yes, okay, the middle line. Now, the middle line is your middle Bollinger Band. The middle line is your middle Bollinger Band. Now, I told you guys about this top Bollinger Band. I told you guys again about this bottom Bollinger Band. Now, the middle line is your middle Bollinger Band. Now, this middle Bollinger Band comes, this middle Bollinger Band, it came with this new update. The old update did not have it, but this was a new update that made, just for them to make sure that you understand it. Now, the middle line also acts as a support or resistance. So now it also acts as another point. So if your middle line is now in line with your resistance line, that's another indicator. So the middle line still rejects your price at that point. It acts as a resistance point. Do you understand? Because I told you, if price gets to the red line, it is your red Bollinger Band is another indicator for a sell. I told you, if price gets to your green Bollinger Band, it's another indicator for a buy. But this middle line is your middle Bollinger Band. Now they didn't want to make it too bulky, so they just made it only one, just so that we can understand what it is. Does everybody understand that middle line so far? That middle black line. If you understand the middle black line, please drop a full stop in the chat box. Okay, okay. You don't understand it. Wow. Okay. Let me explain EMA again. Let me explain EMA again. So let me explain Bollinger Band again. These red ones that look like evil spirits up here are your red Bollinger Band. These green lines are your green Bollinger Bands. These are your buy Bollinger Bands. These are your sell Bollinger Band. This middle one is your middle Bollinger Band. This middle black line. Now, this middle black line can be either be an indicator for a buy or a sell, depending on where your candles are. Now, this middle line also rejects your price. Now, do you know what it means for price to reject? The price gets there, basically like a tennis ball, it gets there and it bounces back. So this middle line acts as another resistance, a kind of resistance. Do you understand? This is your middle EMA. Before it was never there, so we're only using normal support and resistance. But now, from trading for a while, I noticed that this also rejects your price. So this middle line is another indicator for whether I buy or sell. It's above, if your candles are above the middle line, you're waiting for price to hit there and reject. Your candles are below the middle line, you're still waiting for price to hit there and reject. You already know that rejecting means hitting there and basically coming back. Do you understand what that middle line is for now? Does everybody understand what the middle line is for? Please just drop a one in the chat box. I need to make sure everyone understands it before we move ahead. Helen understands it. Kingsley, I think Oluchi is still the only one having issues. So Oluchi, I'm going to say it one more time. I just need to make sure everyone understands this. Oluchi, I'm going to say it one more time. These red lines are your red Bollinger Bands. Green lines are your green Bollinger Bands. When you're looking for buys, you're basically waiting for price to hit your resistance. Sorry, when you're looking for buys, you're waiting for price support and hit your Bollinger Band. But sometimes your support can also be in the middle, right? And this middle line sometimes also acts as a support. And this middle line sometimes also acts as a resistance. So this is a middle Bollinger Band. It basically shows it's another indicator for a buy or a sell. So you can reject your price at any point in time. So if you do not still understand, I think you can send me a DM and I'll explain it properly. So does everyone else understand? If you understand, please drop a 2 in the chat box. I'm going to finish the numbers today. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Someone just asked the question. So when Cashtrap calls for a sell or buy, but the price is not close to the Bollinger Band, we should enter, even if every other thing is okay. Wonderful question, very wonderful question. Which is why we have points. I've not finished explaining what the point is. I've told you if you have 3 points, it's a good trade. 4 points, better trade. 5 points, amazing trade. Now 4 points, I usually enter trades which are 4 points. Sometimes I enter 4 points with low risk. 5 points, I usually enter 5 and above. Well, now those middle Bollinger Bands are another indicator for, is another point basically. The Bollinger Bands are another point. So if every other thing is okay and it amounts to at least 3, 4, 5 points, you can still enter that trade. The only thing that will make you not to take that trade, if everything aligns and your currency strength meter does not support, do not take that trade. Benjamin, we are still counting the points. Does everybody understand what I just explained to this lady, Vivian? I want to believe everybody understands that. So we're going to move ahead now. All right, we're going to move ahead now. So where was I explaining the point? I told you your resistance line is 1 point, the same with your support line. Your Bollinger Bands are another point. Now, if you come down here, your Dmi Stochastic, B and S, B and S. Now, if you're looking for buys, if you're in a buying trend, and guys, please take note because I'm going to ask questions after this session. If you're in a buying trend and you're seeing B on your Dmi Stochastic, that is basically another point. Do you understand? If you're in a buying trend and you're seeing B on this stochastic, that is basically another point for a buy. This is known as your DMI stochastic. Now, if you're seeing S in a buying trend, you can still take that trade if your other points align. Now, I told you, if you have a hierarchy, if you have, like in the office, you have your CEO, you have the manager, you have the cleaners, you have the receptionist and all that. The receptionist cannot tell the CEO what to do. Do you understand? In the same manner, the company can still run without the receptionist, but sometimes the company cannot run without a manager or without the CEO. Now, your currency strength meter is your CEO. Basically, everything currency strength meter says. The currency strength meter says buy, you're only looking for buys. If the currency parameter says sell, you're only looking for sales. But this your DMI stochastic is is like your receptionist. You understand? Even if it's showing B in a selling trend, you can still take that trade as far as your other points align. Someone someone just asked me what's the full meaning of DMI. Another person said, must the B be under the next candle or current before we should take the trade? Wow. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm saying so far. Must the B be under? I basically said, okay. I think I get what you're saying. B doesn't necessarily need to be under, right? Obviously, this is the latest one you're going to use. Do you understand? It's the latest one you're going to use. So you're not going to be using a B that is back here. You're going to be using a B that is basically current. Do you understand? Now, the person who asked what DMI is, basically DMI means directional movement index. Even though I don't know what you're doing with the name. Okay, somebody already answered that. Okay, got to it. Thank you. Directional movement index. That's what DMI means. All right. But even though the name doesn't tell you what to enter by yourself, though. Anyway, I think everybody understands this DMI stochastic. So if you're seeing buy here, is another indicator. It's basically another point. Now we are coming down to your stochastic. This is one very important thing I look at when taking my trades. A lot of people ask me, oh, Sage, what do you look at when you're taking trades? This is one of the main, in fact, after my currency parameter and my EMA, I come here straight. This is what I look at. So now looking at your stochastic, you can see a red line and a green line. In the old update, this was a dashed line. Now it's a straight line. You can see a red line and a green line. In the middle, you can see a black line. Now this line is your price line. If you are looking for sales, what did I tell you guys before? You are only concerned with everything red. If you're looking for buys, you're only concerned with everything green. If you are looking for sales, you're only concerned with everything red. And if you're looking for buys, you're only concerned with everything green. That being said, if you're in a sell trend, you are making sure that this your price line is going to come up here and cross down for a sell. Can you guys see what's going on here? You're going to come up here, come above this line, and be crossing down for a sell, meaning you are looking, it's going to cross down for a sell, meaning that's another point, another indicator for a sell. Now, I usually like to draw a line in the middle here, just so that you guys can understand what I am saying. I'm going to draw a line. As you can see, there's a middle line here. Everything above this middle line that is closer to the red line, I'm basically assuming this market is still selling. Everything that is below this middle line, now this middle line, I drew it myself. It doesn't come with it, but I personally do things that I know will help me. Everything that is below this middle line, you're looking for buys. Do you understand? So sometimes price may not get up to this red line before it crosses down. It may cross up from this your middle point and cross down for a. So guys, please give me 30 seconds. All right. So as I was saying, this your middle line. If it crosses down from here, right, as far as you're in a buying trend, you're automatically looking for buys. Once this thing crosses up, do not go and say, oh guys, it will soon sell, make I take them for sale. No, you're waiting for it to come back down to this your green line. So once it's before this your middle line, you still have hope of it coming down soon to take your buys. So if it is, I don't know how to explain it properly, but if it's before this your black line, you're basically looking for support as far as you're in a buying trend. If it's above this your black line, you're looking for resistances as far as you're in a selling trend. Now let me explain properly. If this your black line is crossing down in a selling trend, it is an indication for a sell. If this your green line is crossing up, if this your black line is crossing up from the green line, it's an indication for a buy. But sometimes you do notice that it doesn't get up here and cross down, or it doesn't get down here and cross up. So I decided to devise a method in the sense that I drew a middle line here, and if it crosses here, it is closer to the red line, meaning it will soon sell, meaning it will soon sell. If it crosses down, it is closer to the green line, meaning it will soon buy. Mind you, this buy and sell I'm talking about, you cannot do it in the same trade, meaning you're only looking at sales if you're in a selling trend. In fact, if if your currency strength meter, like now, let's look at this. We have euro, we have AUDCHF. AUDCHF meaning you're only looking for sales. In a trade like AUDCHF, you do not have any business with this down place. If your lines are down here, guys, personally for me, I leave that trade. I don't even wait for it to get to any resistance. I will leave that trade. Your line must be above this. I don't know if you guys can incorporate this into whatever you're doing. This above must be above this middle line I drew here. Then you can be looking for sales in the sell trend. In the sell trend, if you see the lines are down here, sleeping on the green side, do not take that trade. I mean, there are 1,001 currencies for you to be stuck on one. Do you understand? The same way while you're writing an exam, they tell you if a question is too hard, you don't have time, move to the next one, come back later. Exactly what you're going to do here. If you notice that your currency, your line is sleeping on this red point when you're in a buy trend, or sleeping on this green point when you're in a sell trend, my brothers and sisters, please leave that trade and move to the next one that is correctly set up for your trade. Moving now, your RSI is basically the same principle. If you notice, they move almost the same way. Do you guys now is another indication for another point. Now let me count your point system. One, assuming you're in a selling trend, let's assume that this was AUDCHF. Let's assume that this pair was AUDCHF. I know it's GBP USD, but in fact, okay, there's no AUDCHF here. But let's assume that this pair was AUDCHF. Well, let's count the points. 1 point, your currency strength meter. 2 points, if your price gets to your resistance line. Remember, you're not looking at anything green when you're in a sell trend. If your price gets to your resistance line, 2 points. 3 points, if your price happens to also be at your Bollinger Band, that is your 3rd point. 4th point, an S must be shown in a selling trend on the stochastic. 5th point, price must be crossing down from this line. Price must be crossing down from your red line. 6th point, price must also be crossing down from your RSI line. Now, there's one thing I did not show you guys. I said I was going to show you guys towards the end. If you look here, you can see a countdown. It's counting 1 minute, 22, 21, 20, and so on. But I showed you guys initially here that this is a 5 minutes candle. So the time that is always counting here is 5 minutes. Now this 5 minutes here is a countdown to a new candle. Now, if you're looking for sales and you come here and you're still seeing call, sell means put. So if you're looking for sales, everything must align, meaning you must see put here. So even if your price gets up to your, I think somebody is asking a question. Repeat that part. The point. Wow. Okay. I'll come back to that, guys. Colleagues, I'll come back to that. Benjamin, I'll come back. So, meaning even if your price, everything has set up, As far as this place is still showing call instead of put in a selling trend, you're not going to take that trade until this calm down timer has gotten to this point. So now on trading view, when next we are teaching, I don't know when next there will be a training, but we'll actually show you trading view. In fact, I'll send videos out today for you to understand trading view today. Do you understand? Now on trading view, it's basically going to teach you how to transfer your supports and resistances to trading view, because sometimes the entries here are not always accurate. So you have to learn how to transfer your supports and resistances and get exact entries from trading view. Because whether you're in a buy or sell trend, yes, you know it's in a buy trend, or yes, you know it's in a sell trend, it is very important to know when to enter the market. And I'm sure you guys understand so far. So basically, if you're looking for buys, make sure here is on call and aligns with every other thing. If you're looking for sales, make sure it is on put. So you must make sure that if here is call and you're on a selling trend, you're waiting for your countdown timer to finish and show put. So you're basically going to be looking for entries in that put cycle. Now, someone said I should explain when your line is slipping down there. Okay. Now, assuming you're looking for buys, you are expecting everything to be at this green line. Assuming you're looking for buys, you're expecting everything to be down here on this green line. But if you are, okay, this is GBP. This market will soon buy. But now, if you are looking for sales and the market is sleeping on the green line, do not take that trade. If you're looking for sales, how do you know you're looking for sales? The currency trend meter will tell you what trade it is. Now, if you're looking for sales, the market must be at this red line crossing down. Must be at the red line, sha. Then you start looking for a price to enter the market. You do not have any business with the green part. If your price is down here, you're looking for sales. My brothers and sisters, move to the next pair. Now, if you're looking for buys and price, this price line here is up here, do not take that trade. You're basically waiting for this line to come down and you're looking for an entry at that point in time. I'm still going to send out videos to the groups today. Make sure you watch it. This recording of this video of this class will be released. Do you guys understand so far? If you understand everything I've said so far, please drop a 25 in the chat box. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. If you have any questions, please ask. Dorcas, relax now. All right, all right, all right, all right. Wonderful. So I believe everyone understands. I am going to be sending out the video from myself and Coach Isaiah on trading view markups and all that. Now, Ifeanyi has actually been waiting to ask his question for what I can see. On a buying trend, RSI stochastics are already on a green line. Currency strength is ready too, but your alert, the currency is showing put instead of buy. What should you do? This is a beautiful question. On the buying trend, RSI stochastic are already set. Currency strength is set also. But your alert, the currency is showing put instead of buy. What should you do? Now, like I told you, this right hand side shows your countdown timer. You're going to see how many minutes is on the timer. And I am sure, in fact, usually I'm 80 to 90% sure that after that timer expires, this your currency is going to change to a call instead of a put. It's going to change. So all you have to do is wait for that. This countdown timer is a countdown to a new candle. If you can see each of these candles you see moving, whether small or big, are you can see each of these candles you see, whether small or big, are 5 minutes. Even if it's so tiny, they're all 5 minutes. So you're basically waiting for a countdown for it to expire and it should change. Then you're looking for an entry in that trade. Uncle Ifeanyi, do you understand? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Last question, Oluchi Beke. Please, what about the green, red or green line in between the Bollinger Band? Which one again now? Which red or green line? Okay, Oluchi, I'm going to actually permit you to use your right on my screen. Mark that place you're talking about. I need to make sure you guys understand it. I believe every other person understands. Let me see if I can quickly on. All right, support and resistance. Please, what about the red and green line? Oluchi, are you coming late? Okay, I will answer your question. What about the red or green lines in between the Bollinger Bands? Now, I'm going to assume that you're talking about these red lines, red, 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 green, 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 green. These are support lines. This is your green. Everything you see green is support. Green equals support, equals buy, equals floor. So everything you see green is for buys. Remove anything sell in your head once you are looking at green. So currency strength meter says buy. Your first currency being second stronger than the second currency, you're looking for buys, meaning you're only looking at green. Those green lines are your support lines. Now, sometimes your support lines happen to be inside your Bollinger Band, which is beautiful because if your support lines that you're using at that point are inside your Bollinger Band, inside your Bollinger Band lines, that is 2 points basically. Because if your price gets down to your support and is also at your Bollinger, that is basically you're looking at 2 points, support and your resistance. So basically, those are your support and resistance lines, and you're taking buys at support and you're taking sells at resistances. Oluchi said you're not talking about support and resistance. Yeah, let me explain before you say that. Oluchi, please send me a DM. I will explain to you privately. Thank you very much. I believe every other person understands what we're talking about. Lastly, guys, if you understand, just drop a one in the chat box so that we can move for affirmations. Already time for affirmations. Wonderful. Which currency strike meter is the best? Personally, for me, I use currency heat wave. I paid 13,000 naira for it, 12,000 something. But you guys can be using currencystrikemeter.org until you perfect your trading. So can I get the video? It's on. Benjamin, who is your mentor? Coach Isaiah said triopips.com. I've never heard of it, but I'm going to check it out now. So, guys, because Isaiah has actually referred triopips.com in the group chat as a currency strike meter. And anything Coach Isaiah refers is good. Okay. Your mentor is Queensley. All right. So, Benjamin, I'm going to send a video to uh, Queensley. So, Queensley, after this call, please reach out to me. Let me send you a video to send to your mentees. So, guys, you can use currencystrengthmeter.org for your currency strength meter. If you want to pay for Heatwave, you can also use that. Miriam said FX Helper is very effective. I think Hart also told me about FX Helper. Please, Coach Sage, can you take one sample trade using the above tips you just taught? God's will, I will not take a trade. Why? Because I do not trade on Fridays. So, guys, you can decide what works for you. But personally, I do not trade on Fridays because I believe the market is unstable on Fridays. A lot of people make money on Fridays, but I do not trade on Fridays, and I stand by that. Thank you very much, God's will. Can you use them or you pay to have a full access on it? Okay, so I believe everyone understands everything I've said. Thank you very much. I'm tired of everyone dropping numbers. So, guys, I believe you all understand. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the next session. Enjoy your day, guys.